Okay. Cool. All right. Hello and welcome back to Ashley Main Makes and welcome to the Sunday Sewing Circle. So today we have an exceptionally special guest, which is Serena, who is live with me. So it's very exciting. So a big welcome to her. Serena does specializes in vintage sewing and lifestyle. And we started talking here, I don't know, what was that? Before Christmas now, probably? Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, so we connected because of the horrible walkaway dress because we had similar opinions on the horrible walkaway dress, and so we've been just like chatting and hanging out ever since. And so she has delightfully agreed to come on my live tonight, and we're just going to sit and chat, and so I don't have to stress so French seams like I did last week. So, please say a big hello in the chat. Let us all know how you're doing. We probably won't go as late tonight, probably like, I don't know, a while. We'll see how this goes. This is my first time having a guest on. I'm not going to stress her out. Um, but but yeah, so yeah, so let's get started. I don't really. How does everything seem to be? Okay, yeah, for sure. Looks like. Oh, hello, Lauren. Thank you for joining us. Looks like people are trickling in. Hopefully. You should be able to. Should be on this side. Hey, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us. Sorry we to slander your challenge. Starting off with. Oops. Oops. It brought us together, though. It's good. uh, yeah. 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 No, exactly. I think the like everyone. It was really cool to watch everyone's different versions because there was just so many versions. Oh, hello, Danny. Nice to see you again. Yeah, no, there's just so many versions. It was nice, and I don't know. I don't know about you, but I had wanted to make it for a long time. In fact, I had the reproduction pattern sitting there for a really long time before we did the walkway dress challenge, and I was like, one of these days, because I feel like it's like one of those projects that's like a known thing in the sewing community. Oh, okay. Oh no. Let's see. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm still hearing you. Yeah, I can hear you, no problem. Hmm. Okay. Sorry, guys. Give me a second here. Um. Strange. Source properties. Serena. Volume is like maximum. Oh, geez. Okay. Can you guys hear her now? Let us know. Somebody let me know in the chat quickly, please. I would really appreciate it. Because it's like everything seems to be working on my end. Hide you, unhide you. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Oh, guys, what am I gonna do? Of course, something. I just said, oh, it seems really great. Nothing goes wrong. I was like, this seems really easy. It's great. Seems too easy. How about now, guys? Did that work? You say something again, Serena?
Yeah. Can you
Okay.
hear us? Or me?
Can anyone hear her? Please. Oh no. Hopefully that helped. Why can't I troubleshoot?
Yeah, the delay sucks.
The delay so sucks. That's why it's like brutal. It was working just fine. Could hear this time. Okay,
Yay.
cool. We fixed it. We fixed it. Sorry, guys. This is the first time I'm collaborating. And luckily, Serena's nice to me.
Oh, it would have been
Okay.
worse. If it was
Oh,
my stream, I would have been gone. I'd been like, well, good night, guys.
good night, guys. Well, my first stream, that was the worst. My first stream, I think you were there. My
Yeah, I
camera
was.
overheated, and then I didn't have my audio switched off when I was swearing in the background. It
Oh,
was
I didn't
like,
hear that.
oh, it was the absolute worst. I was like, well, the worst has happened. So now I can get over it because nothing can be truly as terrible as that happening.
I missed that part.
That's good. I'm really glad you missed that part. It was really embarrassing.
Uh-oh, they can't see me.
Now you can't see her. Oh my god. Can't see her now. Okay. How is this happening?
Now it's a podcast.
Now it's a podcast. It says your name. Oh my god. Why is the world like this? I tested this, guys. I swear I did. I've spent days like testing this. Um, collab cam is now she should be visible to stream. Can you guys see her now?
Yeah, I can't see her.
It's asking me to hide it on stream. You got this, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Oh my god. It's a black screen flashing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking on my laptop and I'm not there.
Visible on both stream and recording. How about now? She's back. Okay. Cool. Maybe
Delay.
it's delayed on mine too. Probably okay. Did we fix all the issues now? I'm so sorry, guys. Well, at least you got some time to get here, right? We got 13 of
Yeah.
us now, so you just got to see me witness me being terrible. All right. So now we can get into the main exciting stuff. You did it, Stephanie. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. I really appreciate it. Especially if you're joining me for the first time. Normally, I'm getting better. It hasn't been as chaotic. Hey, Lauren. Okay. We're good? We're good? I think I need a drink after that. It's fine. All right. So, if you weren't here a few minutes ago, we were just talking about the walkway dress. That we got into it together because of Stephanie's challenge. She was nicely here in the chat. So we're working on that together. And seeing everyone's videos. So I guess like I don't know. I guess like so to get started, like let's just talk about like if people haven't seen you before, heard you before, like how did you get into sewing? I think I know the answer, but like how did you get into sewing? How'd you get into retro sewing?
So I've always wanted to sew, I guess. I've always been a crafty person, so I've always been making things and I've always wanted to sew. And I got into sewing whenever I was in college and I was finishing up my degree, and I wanted to take it a little seriously, but I need like a mental break, but I didn't want to turn to like social media and like binge watching TV because I would never stop that. So I thought it was time for a hobby. And so I had gotten gifted the sewing machine that I use most regularly. And I decided to learn how to sew in between breaks from studying. And I just learned from there. It was just me playing around with sewing machine whenever I had breaks from studying. And then I got addicted to it. I loved it so much that I didn't stop. Like from that moment of starting, I haven't stopped since.
Well, there you go. There you go. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I went up and down with it a bit. Like I had learned from my nana when I was younger, like a kid and a teenager, and so I learned how to sew
Mhm.
from her. And then I almost did the opposite. Like I went off to university and like was stressed
But
out and like couldn't handle anything. And then when I finally moved and was out like on my own again, I like dug out the sewing machine again and started making things. So I feel like it was like
that's really cool.
almost like
Well,
the opposite.
my grandmother tried to teach me how to sew prior to that, and I just didn't have the patience because like I expected to be able to like once I learned how to use the machine, I expected to be able to learn how to make clothes just like that, like just because I knew how to operate the machine. And I got
Yeah.
frustrated. I spent like maybe a week or two in the summer trying to learn, and then I was just like, this isn't for me. Like I literally don't have the time or the patience for this. And then my grandmother didn't have the time or the patience for me because I was being so annoying. Like now if I was the student that I was trying to be back then, like I would have given up on me long, like way before she did.
Oh
So like
yeah.
this is so dumb, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it. And then I just picked it up anyway. Like I learned to like appreciate the process, the failures, the everything. And then I just fell in love with all the steps.
Well, because I feel like sewing is so much not about the sewing part half the time. Like,
Hmm.
it's about the pattern part and the cutting part and the ironing part and like,
Oh yeah, and I
it's
wasn't trying to
like,
use patterns. I thought I could make my own pattern too. Like,
which it boggles my mind. Like, I see so many people that are starting off, like, without even using a pattern, and they're like, I'm afraid to use a pattern. And I'm like, using a pattern is so much easier. Like, what are you doing?
it wasn't even a consideration. I was just like, I know it's in my head and it's going to go. Like, I was going to Xerox it from my brain to the sewing
Yeah,
machine.
that's just like magically gonna.
And that's why I failed 100%.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that, though. I feel like I've tried some stuff as an adult that I just thought I couldn't do that I tried when I was younger, and that I obviously just like didn't have enough patience to like stick with and
Hmm.
try. Like, I kind of wonder, I don't know, like my other grandma taught me how to like tried to teach me how to knit, and that was just like I can't. Or like my mom with embroidery, like I just couldn't. So I kind of wonder now if I have the patience as an adult more to try again. So
The embroidery is pretty good. I like that. I still can't knit very well, but I'm thinking I'm still like that Serena who was trying to like make a whole sweater on the first try. Like I think I'm still her with it comes to knitting because like I have bought so many patterns and I'm just like my first project I'm making the sweater instead of it being like my first project I'm making a square.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
I want
like
to make
make a scarf and go from there. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. So how did you get okay, so like did you start off with vintage patterns then, or did you like start with like some of the modern patterns, or just like
I
straight in the
started
deep
with
end?
I started with modern. At the time, I didn't understand the sizing system for vintage. Like, I didn't pay attention to the sizing chart at all. So, whenever I had like vintage patterns, because I actually got a box of patterns from my husband's grandmother, we were renting her mid century house at the time. So, I found her patterns no one else sewed. So, they were just like, you can have them all. And when I saw like size 12 and stuff like that, I was like, this can't fit me.
Yeah.
So I just was like, I'm gonna have to go to Joann's and get, the little dollar patterns or whatever, and I'm gonna have to make those. And then when I get more skilled at sewing in general, then I will learn how to size patterns to my size. Because I didn't realize that vintage 12 would have been my size at the
Yeah.
time. And then it wasn't until I was like a year or two in, I revisited those patterns and then looked at the actual sizing chart and I was like, oh crap, I could have been making these the whole time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
No, I
yeah, I started with modern, which probably was a good idea because like before that I wasn't dressing vintage at all. So I wouldn't have known the fit, you know? And so with modern patterns, I was just making clothes that I would have otherwise bought in stores. So I kind of could gauge whether or not I was making clothes that would fit me, if
Well, and
that
I
makes
think
sense.
yeah, and I think there's like a level of assumed knowledge there with a lot of the vintage patterns. Although I mean, I don't know, it's a bit of a like they do explain certain things really well in vintage patterns, and then other things they're just like, and I feel like with modern patterns it's like almost the opposite. Like in vintage patterns they'll be like, this is how you make a dart, and the pattern like, and then the other like a modern pattern's like going to be like show you how to like put in your darts now, versus like the vintage pattern will just like show it with the darts done. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't have any of those issues, and maybe it could have been because of the patterns that I had. Because some patterns do explain more than others.
Yeah.
So it could have just been I got really lucky with the first couple patterns I started doing with vintage. But I definitely stuck with vintage, not only because I like the style, but because I felt like I was learning more
Y-
with the vintage patterns than
yeah.
with the modern patterns. I just found like a lot of the modern patterns, I wasn't learning any new techniques from like pattern to pattern. They were all pretty much the same. And so then whenever I had like the vintage ones that had to challenge me just a little bit, I had more stuff to look up to see how stuff was done and things like that. Whereas like I felt a little stunted with the modern patterns.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. I feel like there's the same like six patterns that come out in the modern patterns all the
Yeah.
time. Like there's not really like you don't get that many interesting like details or technical things that often
Hmm.
really.
And it was a really good place to start. Like I definitely appreciate it. And then even now, I wouldn't dissuade people from sewing with modern patterns to begin with if they're making clothes that they would actually wear.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely didn't have that problem with like vintage patterns. The most intimidating part of the vintage patterns was just not knowing that they were my size to begin with.
I get that comment like so regularly. Like even the other day when I posted like a size chart on my Instagram, because I just don't even think people realize like they're like, oh, a size 20. Like I did it too. Like when I was like, I just marched into Joann's and was like, oh, it's like I was smart enough to go, oh, I need a plus size pattern, but I wasn't smart enough to go like, oh, like what does that mean? Like
Hmm.
so it's like I waltzed in. I'm like, oh, that's plenty big enough. That's huge. Like it'll definitely fit. Then you find out like,
Yeah, comparing the size chart, it's not the
yeah,
same.
yeah. I even had a girl message me on Instagram the other day that was like, "Is this normal? Is this how this always is?" Because I would be like a size a million, and I was like, yeah, yeah. Like I feel you. It's a little bit of a like you got to take your ready to wear size and just like throw it out the
Yeah.
window.
And then I feel like they had like a whole bunch of like alterations books that came with vintage patterns too. That like
Yeah.
because obviously a lot of people didn't fall within the size range, but they had the knowledge to make the patterns they had work. Whereas like I don't feel like those resources are readily available outside of like textbooks for modern stuff. And then of course you have like blogs and stuff like that. But when I first started sewing, I didn't use any online resources. I was just using what I could like walk into the store and find. So it didn't occur to me to like look up a blog or Pinterest or anything like that. I was just, especially since that was a period of my life where I was offline as well because I was trying to focus on school. So
Yeah.
those weren't even things I considered because I was trying to like be unplugged for that period of time.
Yeah, I don't think I considered it until I think I tried. There's a group online called the Curvy Sewing Collective, and they had a really old blog about like all the fitting adjustment, like all the bust
Hmm.
adjustments, and I think that's where I started. And then there's like takes you down a rabbit hole because you go from the blog to the Facebook group to the Instagram hashtag to the, like you go from like, and then you're like, there's this whole world, and then you're like, oh, there's all these indie patterns, and I think you go nuts for
Yeah.
a while. Like I don't know, I did anyway, and now I'm like, okay, I'm not buying anything else? We're stopping. Cease and desist.
They want to talk about the walk away
I
tea.
know. I see Stephanie's message. I want to hear the tea, is what she says.
Oh my God. If
Yeah.
you want tea, go in the comment section of my video. People were so mad at me for not liking that dress. It was ridiculous. Like it literally got so like it got so many views simply off of people just being pissed off that I did not like the dress and that they didn't like the fabric that I used for the dress. And basically
Yeah.
they were trying to like persuade me to make it again in like good fabric. And I literally had to think to myself, like, is it normal for you to make like a muslin and be like, I don't like this, and then go like, I'm gonna go spend $100, $200 on fabric to make it again because it'll be so much better. And I'm just like, I
No.
mean, I was just like, you guys are like crazy. Because for me, if I don't like it, like I have enough
Yeah.
vision, like I have enough foresight to where I can be like, if this doesn't look like, if I'm not feeling this now, the fabric won't change that.
Well, I feel like I okay, so this is gonna sound bad. I knew I probably wasn't gonna like it like going in, but because it's one of those like I don't know. It's like one of those Mount Everest type of like sewing projects. Like you know what I mean? Like I feel like everyone sews that dress, so I like needed to sew it to like do the thing. I don't know. That's a bad way of explaining it, but like I probably like
No, it's
I
not. So I kind of agree because, well, sorta. So the reason I liked the dress prior to making it was one, the illustration,
the illustration's
and
adorable.
two, the other people that I seen wearing it were wearing it incorrectly, and not by my standards, but by what they printed as a description on the back. So
Mhm.
they said it's a sheath dress with an overskirt, which would mean you would never put a full petticoat under a sheath dress.
Mm.
And everyone that wore it, that I liked it, were wearing like a petticoat underneath it. So I thought that's
Mm.
how it should have been worn. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's a really cute dress. And then so when you read the description, and because I was following the challenge, I wanted to wear it the way that it was intended. And so it wouldn't have had that at all. And so people were mad at me. They were just like, you should have worn a petticoat. And I'm just like,
You
no, I should
can't.
not. Because
I
if it was a full
also
sheath, if it was a full sheath dress, like please tell me how I'm gonna get like a skirt under like a wiggle. Like please explain that to
okay.
me. Does it
So
make sense?
I got the same comment that they were like, you're not wearing the proper understructure. You should be wearing like a full petticoat. You should be wearing like a full like. They were like, your boobs aren't shaped right. It was like everything. Like I was like,
Your boobs.
I'm not going to buy a different bra just for this goddamn dress that I don't even like. B, like they're my boobs. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like
Tape them in
I
the
don't.
shape of
Like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like literally like, and they're like, well, you should be cinched in, and like apple shape shouldn't wear this dress, and blah blah blah. And I was just like, I clearly stated in the video that I'm making this for a challenge. I am not
same.
making this for like, I am making
Oh
this
my
to see if I can do this. I'm not making this for like a
none of the
thing.
suggestions made sense to me. So they were like, "Oh, you should have made it with like a heavy velvet and stuff like that." And I'm just like, "Okay, so I don't know about like their fabric stores, but mine does not sell like fancy satin bias tape. And if the dress was supposed to be made within a couple of hours, you can't tell me they expected you to make bias tape because then it wouldn't have been done in a couple of hours. So I'm
No.
like, they meant prepackaged tape. And so that would have been cotton. So I'm supposed to put cotton tape with satin or cotton tape with velvet. Also, if I'm going to buy 5 yards of velvet or satin, why on earth would I make a cape? Like that kind of a cape. Like
Well,
I'd make a
especially because
1940.
it's just so much fabric. Like, I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
waste, like, I think for
I'd
me, I
make
mean,
an
probably for you, it was way less, but like, I think for me, and granted, I used 45-inch wide fabric, which I shouldn't have done, but, I think it was nearly 7 yards of fabric. I mean, who's got like 7 yards of fabric and like, God knows how much bias tape just like laying around their sewing room, like, for this thing, like, that you're gonna, I don't know, like, I don't have, like,
they said 5 yards of fabric. That could for me could make an actual evening gown. Like
that's
why
what I
would I make
mean.
a gown that like does what it does. Like I would just make a gown and a zipper and just make it look like a gown. And then people were just like, "Oh, it's supposed to be a maternity dress." And I'm like, "No, it's not. Have you like maternity standards for the time because I made a whole maternity wardrobe. They didn't wear tight clothes. Like you couldn't even be seen on TV like with saying the word pregnancy. So like no, like the dress is ugly and they didn't want to admit it and then they were mad at me for saying
Right.
it.
I
So,
mean, I didn't say like I just said it like was not for me and I didn't like it on me and you know, I wasn't even that mean about it. And I feel like
I
people were
wasn't either,
like,
but after they attacked me, I was just like, let's just call a spade a spade. It's ugly.
spade, spade, it's ugly. It's ugly. And it was a pain in the ass to make. And like, honestly, I honestly think I could have made, like, with that amount of fabric, I could have made a full circle skirt dress with a bodice and sleeves. And like, I probably would have been able to do it faster because I wouldn't have been dealing with so much bias tape. Like,
Yeah, that's
like
another thing. I'm like, what evening gown have you ever seen with bias tape? Like, usually people want to hide their seams and hide their bias tape. They don't usually want to wear it. So I don't know.
well, and
There's
people were
theory
like, you should have made your
for, like,
own bias tape and like made it to match the fabric and like.
then you wouldn't have been done by noon.
I mean, I wasn't
At
done
least
by
not
noon
you.
as it was. You were way faster than I was, but
And then I was told that, oh, you should have let it hang. And I'm like, what part of time challenge did you not understand?
yeah, I'm like,
Like,
what part of time challenge? Like, yeah. Oh, Stephanie Cat, I did wear a petticoat and it still looked awful.
like I think it looked good on some people who had like petticoats and stuff like that, because that's initially why I wanted to make the dress, because of the way it looked on the pattern art and stuff. But like I think that I could have made a better single dress with
Yeah.
an overskirt. Like it would have just looked better like two separate things.
Oh, 100%. Like yeah, you could have done like one of the, like what are those, like those beach sets with the like wraparound skirt, like button up,
Yeah, or
like
I could have
wraparound
just
skirt or
made
something.
Yeah, or I could have just made like I have plenty of patterns, vintage patterns, where it's like a sheath dress underneath, and then it has like a organza overskirt, so that way it does have that fluff to it.
Mm.
And yeah, so they like there are patterns out there, and like the pattern requirement, like the fabric requirement, would have been the same or less. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was just like blown away by the fabric requirement. I'm like, if I was required to have like that much fabric just laying around because I happen to be need something to go to this mythical luncheon, um, like I'm sure as hell like not gonna waste it on that. Like also like I just think it's much faster not to buy spined everything like that. Like I could have hemmed things way faster.
it was super fun. Like I enjoyed the process,
Yeah.
and that was the first time that I had used the machine that I had.
Oh, okay.
Video.
Yeah.
So it was like the process was fun. Using that sewing machine was fun, but ultimately, like I didn't like the dress. And trust and believe, if I liked the dress and I just didn't like the fabric, I would have remade it in another
Oh, yeah.
fabric. But it wasn't the fabric; it was the dress.
Yeah. No, 100%. Like yeah, I have no qualms. So like everyone's talking about my boobs. Boobs have a mind of their own. Yeah, I literally was like, okay, like I don't know. I think that is one thing about the vintage patterns with the illustrations. Like the illustrations always make it look so good. And then it's like
Well, okay, so they definitely, that's one thing, because a lot of stuff was assumed, like a lot of the foundation garments and tricks and stuff that they
oh
would
yeah.
do, they wouldn't, because like if you look at like the illustrations and then compare it to like magazine photos, they're very similar of like people actually wearing the dress. But because we don't know, well, I didn't know, I didn't know foundation stuff, then it's like really hard to like recreate it. So that's why recently on like my Instagram reels and YouTube shorts, I've been going into detail of like foundation garments and tricks and stuff, because like that was huge on like being very disappointed with my makes, was like making these outfits and then not getting the desired look.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see that definitely. I mean, there's definitely a difference when you wear. To be clear, I did wear the closest bra that I had at the time. I did wear like a full seam bra just for the world. Not that people need to know, but like I just felt like being angry. I don't know why. It's like I know I talk a lot about it because I do a lot of like mock-up fitting, but like it just made me laugh. It was just like I don't know, but
Yeah, people were definitely protective of that pattern, which I think is just
it's so
funny.
funny. It was
I do
so funny.
genuinely have some people's like versions of the walkaway dress that I really liked, because ultimately seeing everybody get their dresses done, because I wasn't going to be able
Hmm.
to make it in time because I couldn't get my pattern to print to scale. So it should have been done before Christmas time, but I couldn't get the pattern to scale, so I kind of gave up on it. But then I kept seeing people's entries. I'm like, oh my god, I have to make this dress because they look so good. And then it wasn't until like I was like almost done with it. Then I put on my dress form, and I finally have a professional dress form that's similar, close enough to my body to where in my mind, if it doesn't look good on a dress form, which is like the ideal shape because it's hard,
Yeah, their boobs are
then I'm like,
symmetrical.
it's
Yeah.
not gonna look good at all. You know, there's no sloping shoulders, like
Yeah,
there's no
yeah,
wrinkles. So I was like, if
yeah.
it doesn't look good on you, girl, it's not gonna look good on me either. I even put her on
Uh,
my display form because she has like a smaller waist and like a bigger hip, like like
yeah.
I think it's a store display form, and it didn't even look good on her. And I'm just like, it doesn't get any better than you.
No,
So,
no, you're like mythical Barbie form. Yeah, yeah. No, I was. Yeah. I mean, I definitely had fun. It was definitely interesting trying to do it in like, because I normally don't consider myself a person that's very fast. Um, I mean, it did take me like 5 hours, so I wasn't fast by any means, but
it wasn't slow.
it,
You
I
could have still
mean,
got it done if you got up really early that morning.
no, if you got up early, which I'm not a morning person, so that wasn't happening. And then I ended up doing this terrible thing where I started at like 10:30, and then I didn't get done until like, oh no, it was 11:30, and then I got done at like 4:30. So I just like missed lunch entirely. It was like a really bad scenario. Anyway,
Yeah, I
but
didn't get mine done by lunch. I think once I realized that I hated the dress, finishing it took longer. So my dress would have been done sooner. But once I realized I was gonna like it, it took me forever to hem it because I was just like, this is stupid. Like,
yeah, I still, well, okay, so I hemmed it like the day of. Because it's a circle skirt, it's like it's not a
yeah.
circle anymore, and I still haven't rehemmed it. It's still sitting there. I still haven't rehemmed it properly. It's been hanging for I don't know how long now. But
Mm-mm. I've used mine as an apron. Like I had to paint a sign, and I popped it over my clothes and was like, "Look, we're
we're
gonna paint this."
we're
Not in
gonna
the room.
paint. I feel like it would get in the way though. Like I don't know. Like I ended up adding extra hook and eyes to the middle of mine behind the buttons just because it kept like just like flying open like if I moved slightly wrong
You're
like
not the only person who's complaining about that. So I was just like on a practicality scale. And then you know what's funny though? All of the older people who would have seen their moms wearing that dress literally said their moms wouldn't have gotten been caught dead wearing that in public. All of them said that. So it's just like all of the young people were pissed at me for not liking it when I'm just like, here, the people whose parents was just like, no, my mom would never. And
yeah.
then they were like, "Oh, it's a house coat. You should wear it as a house dress." And I'm like, "Have you seen my house dress?
Your
Like
house
I made
dress
a
is
Quilted satin house dress.
immaculate.
This,
Yeah, why would I
this is
wear that? Yeah, it's on my list. I want to make like a immaculate like 1940s house dress too. It's on the
you
list.
should. I want to make another one too. Like I actually got a pattern from Stephanie. I bought one of her lots, like her pattern lots.
Oh
So I
yeah.
bought a lot for another outfit. But then I saw this dress and I was like, oh, this is the perfect dress. And then when I opened it up, I was like, oh my God, it's a house coat. So
Ah,
I went
yeah.
to make it because house coats, pretty house coats make you feel pretty inside.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have one of the oh my god, what's her name? I bought one of the ridiculous ones from the gal that does like Ditas.
Like
Um
the sugar baby robes, I think they were calling it.
you're widowed. You're now quickly widowed. Your widow robe or whatever.
The
Yeah, I
one
bought.
with like the longest train ever
Yeah,
and
only
like the
it's
big
like it's
rupees.
basically like this yellow color that I bought it in, so it's less like it's like I murdered you, but I'm happy about it. I don't know, but but
I want one of those, but it's not very practical in my
oh
house.
no, I
It's
didn't
not
get the
practical for
one. I didn't get the
anybody.
one with the like marabou arm or anything. I got the rayon one that you can wash because I was like, I'm gonna dip that in sauce and it's gonna be the end of that. So, but
No, the train is what's not practical because like there's thread all over my house. It follows me everywhere I go, and I'm just like the marabou would just pick it up and take it all over
it would
the
just be a duster. It would just be a really expensive feather duster at that
place. Yeah.
point.
Yeah, so I mean, I want one, but like it would literally be for photos only. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's probably not worth buying, and it would have to be
No, I
something.
bought one of the like rayon ones. Although I think like with that, it's made of like a stretch rayon,
Hmm.
and with the whole train and the whole length of the thing, it's so heavy. Like you wouldn't think it's like thin. Like it's thin, but
Yeah,
it's just because it's solid rayon. It's so heavy. I don't know. Like anyway, it's on my list now that I need to make my own, and I want to make it out of like I don't know, some sort of cotton or something.
that's gonna be
Um,
heavy too.
I mean, it's gonna be heavy
Unless you go
too.
with voile.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like I mean like actual physical weight wise versus heat wise, it's not very warm and it's heavy, I guess is where it's like it's I don't know. But I was looking at one earlier and they were calling for rayon, was it like quilted rayon, and I was like I don't think they make such a thing anymore. Like
Yeah, you have.
so
So I couldn't find any quilted satin at the time that I made mine, so like
yeah,
I learned how to quilt it myself, which was really good. I enjoyed doing that a lot.
yeah.
And so I definitely want to do another project where it's like that detailed to where I have to do some more quilting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know B&J's had some a while back and I was like I don't know if I can justify that, especially since I need like ridiculous quantity of it because you're basically making an evening gown that you're using as a house coat. So it's like
Yeah.
I mean it's worth it. I feel like you'll wear
It's
it more than an evening
100%
gown.
worth it. Mine is so heavy. And it's very warm because I use the flannel lined satin for the inside of it.
Yeah.
So that with the brocade and the satin being quilted, like it's a really heavy coat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I think it's worth it, especially if you get like cooler winters.
Yeah. I mean not really, but this apartment sucks, so there's that. So I swear this place has like no insulation. Oh yeah, Stephanie's like, I had to wash mine, so I took the buttons off. Guess what's never gotten put back on?
When I saw her use those vintage buttons, I was like, no,
Girl. Yeah, I
put on
remember.
something more worthy.
Yeah, I remember I've done that a couple of times. I have this like really old button box that's just like my nana's accumulated button box, but also like I swear everyone else in the family slowly and like auctions from various places accumulated button box. So it's like I forget what garment I put. I put one on one and I didn't realize it was metal and I washed it and then I had like a whole rust streak like right like
So I only put vintage buttons in general, like the really nice ones, on dry
yeah.
clean only stuff.
Yeah. Well, learn my lesson. That was when I was like early sewing days and I was mostly didn't want to go buy buttons cuz buttons are
Yeah,
oddly expensive. So,
they really are. They absolutely are.
but
I've been raiding my little miscellaneous button jar recently a lot.
well, and it's hard to know like what's just a random button from the 80s and what's like an actual vintage button I feel like in this box. So, you're like it's plastic, it's fine.
Yeah, I just put whatever looks good. I don't even care anymore to date the button to the garment. Like that's not something that interests me.
No. No, I feel like that's like I don't know. People are asinine about
Historical accuracy.
historical accuracy that doesn't exist. Yeah. Historical.
That literally cracks me up. Because like I said, I rented my husband's grandma's house, and like anybody else's house, your home is an accumulation of your life, right? So it's not like you're stuck in one time frame. Because when I go to my mom's house, she doesn't have everything from 2023. She has stuff from like when we were kids and when she was a young adult, and then things that she's been collecting her whole life. So
Yeah.
her modern house doesn't even have everything from like the last 3 to 5 years. So I
Yeah.
do think it's funny when people go out of their way to be like, that's not historically accurate because you have this and you have this and you have that. And I'm just like, you mean like a normal person?
You mean like a normal
Like
human
that's
that
like
lives in a
literally a
house?
normal person. The
Yeah.
only places I feel like that are only have like everything from the same year are like movie sets and like
Yeah.
rich people who don't really care about anything. But like normal people have a mixture of stuff throughout their lives. So yeah, I don't even try to adhere to that mess.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I get a lot of people that come over and they're like, "What era are you shooting for?" And I'm like, "Things I like, maybe." I mean, I don't know. My house probably like smacks more 70s generally, I think, than yours does. But
No, I
yeah,
love 70s houses. We were not even in the market for a 50s house. Like we didn't even consider it. But
yeah,
like all of the 70s houses were completely renovated,
yeah,
like, or like the roof was falling apart. So it was just like it was either exactly the way it was left and the roof was falling in, or it was
yeah.
completely renovated and you couldn't tell that it was a 70s house unless you looked at the listing. Because I
Mm,
really liked 70s decor a lot. But then we got ours from the 50s and it was I want to say it's our house is about 80 to 90% original.
yeah,
So
that's not bad.
um, there was like I would say it would be at 100 if they didn't move the location of the kitchen. The kitchen's in a whole new place.
I mean, that's
Uh,
probably necessary. I was gonna say that's my one pet peeve with 50s houses is the kitchens usually. So,
that's the best part for me. It was kind of disappointing, but
well, I
because
guess
they
okay.
have all the
I'm not talking about like the cuteness of your kitchen because if people haven't seen Serena's kitchen, it is like adorable in every way.
a dollhouse.
It is so cute. I guess I'm talking about like more like the floor plan of a 50s kitchen where it's like super small. Like I don't know. I guess most of 50s
I
kitchens
get what
I've
you're
been
saying.
in,
Yeah,
where they're closed off, or they have like pass throughs and stuff like that.
yeah, because the way that my kitchen would have been now is currently my bathroom for my bedroom. So if that was our kitchen, yeah, it was small.
Yeah,
It was, and it wasn't like small in size, but just like you said, the layout.
yeah,
The layout was not very great. So
yeah. No, I think that's my usual like because I feel like the further you get along into the 70s, like this by the 70s they're just like no walls, nature outside, and then it's like 50s is like close the kitchen in, no one needs to see that mess. But I'm also like, how did you cook for like 10 kids in a kitchen that size? Like blows my
I don't know.
mind.
Well, they vary because I have like this little home decor book, and like they definitely vary in sizes. And like, but I just feel like the more money you have, or the bigger your house is, the more your kitchen fits really to
Yeah,
that. But like, I don't mind having a closed off kitchen because I don't want to smell the smells. I don't want my kids running in the room and stuff like that. Like we have baby gates everywhere now. And like I like my in-laws, they live in a 70s house and like I appreciate that they have like a pocket door to close off the kitchen.
yeah,
Like they can just close it off. And I really like that and wish we had it at this house. But it'd be too much work to put in a pocket door because like we don't have like the standard like modern drywall. Like our walls are like as hard as freaking concrete. Like you need a special drill to get through them. So it's just like
outside,
we're not
downside.
gonna take this down to put in a door.
Yeah,
But and it did used to have the door, but like previous owners did take down the door, which we have a whole bunch of doors in this house. So we just had to figure out which door goes to which room if we wanted to put it back.
yeah,
And I have really dedicated time for that. But yeah, I really like 70s houses. They're like super cool to me.
yeah. I don't. They're my favorite, but that's like.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I live in a shitty rental at this point still in my life, but and I made butter chicken tonight, so currently my whole kitchen smells like butter chicken. So
Yeah, see, I like to close that off and just be like, I don't want to smell the food after it's been eaten. Once it's gone, I don't want to smell it anymore.
it's like curry's the worst.
Yeah, she said plaster walls. I'm
Plaster
assuming,
walls.
yeah, that's probably it. Like my walls are so
Yeah,
hard. Not the ones down here, because these are straight up concrete. These aren't even plastered, because this is
the basement.
yeah.
Yeah,
But upstairs, they're almost as hard as the walls down here, which are good, but
it's good. I
too much
mean,
work for renovations if you want to move stuff around.
yeah, yeah. Like my parents' house is like double built basically, so it's like drilling into anything is like it's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, a lot. We did
Aww.
actually buy a special drill to be able to like hang picture frames and stuff.
Well, that's a must. But well, is there any are there any big upcoming projects that you're excited about that you want to like talk about,
Uh,
share?
yeah, I have that one brocade dress that I wanted to do, like that eBay listing with like that super expensive
Yes.
60s capelet dress thing, cape dress.
Yes.
I actually pulled the fabric out for that today, and I
Ooh.
was considering doing it this week, but like I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm whenever if you are on my channel, watch my things, everything's in real time. Like I don't plan ahead. I sew when the feeling hits me. And so I'm in the mood to do that right now, but like I'm not in the mood to show it off. So I'm in between deciding whether or not I should make it and then put off taking pictures and doing video, or if I should do something that I'm more interested in showing now. Like I don't know. I'm very weird about that.
I mean, I at the same token though, like you wouldn't want to wear that in the summer either though. Like I feel like the
No, no,
hotter it
no, no.
gets,
I'm not putting
probably
it off that far. But like
uh
I don't know. Cuz I'm still on that like the suit
mhm.
vibe sets thing right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I could. I'm thinking about trying to do 2 projects this week and just be like, okay, I'll do both.
I keep doing that to myself and then I'm like it's a nightmare and then I get halfway through one thing and then like I'm like I need to quit doing that. I need to do like one project and then move on to
Well,
the
that's what
next
I mean. Like,
one.
I intend to do like one in like 3 days and then spend the rest of the week doing the other one. Like, I won't cut 2 at a time. Like, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
I that mess. I
Yeah.
don't want to keep up with the pieces, and then I don't want to tear tissue. I don't want to deal with any of that. So I'm trying to decide if I should do one or the other or both. And then like Valentine's is coming up, and I definitely didn't plan for that because I was on my little vacation thing
Yeah.
and put social media like I screwed like the trip was fun and I went to relax, but I also was just like I'm gonna do a little bit of like influencer stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't bring like I literally got 2 shitty clips that whole time. Like we left at night, so it was like pitch black when we finally got to the motel, and
Yeah.
like so I couldn't do the whole like driving down the highway scenes, like the sped up
Oh.
clip stuff. But I took some in the dark anyway, and then what else did I take a picture of? And then I took a picture of me like having a cocktail on my last day there. I was just like, damn, I suck at this. Like,
Well, it's brutal, A. B, like I thought you did though. You got a bunch of reels in front of the doors and stuff.
oh no, no, yeah, but I wanted to do like a vlog for YouTube. Like, hi
Oh,
guys, I'm
okay.
leaving the house. Watch me pack this and do that. And then like
Oh, yeah,
reality,
yeah.
I'm like, these people who do this don't have kids because I had to pack for everybody, and this was awful.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this is not a good idea. Like, and then I am not someone who likes to film in public anyway. So it was
Yeah.
just like for me to like stop having fun to be like, hey guys, let's have fun on camera. That's so odd for me. So
Well,
I
and
just
it's so awkward when someone like walks by, like even like because I take a lot of them like out front, like in the apartment complex, and like, um, people will be like, like good for you, or like you'll get like weird people looking at you, or like, because you can tell I'm obviously like filming for a thing, so I'm always like so awkward, or like it's like I don't, it's like it's terrible. I don't know. I understand though. I mean, a lot of people do. Okay, so I've done it a couple of times, but a lot of people would have just like driven halfway down the street just to get a drive up shot again in the daytime. Shit like that.
yeah,
Well, I've
we
heard
were
a lot
just
of people do that.
I would have done that too, but it was just like I was enjoying myself too much to like stop to do that type of thing. Um, I'm just I don't know. Like I'm not a vlogger. And so I was trying to
Yeah.
like be like, hey guys, I do actually have fun, which I do. But like that's the thing. Like I have too much fun to stop what I'm doing to like
To like
do the
vlog the whole
thing.
experience.
Yeah. Like it's just
Yeah.
I'm not thinking like I'm having like human to human interaction or like I'm watching my kids play or having a great time. And then like everything that I did for my reels, I did like first thing in the morning. Like I got up and like got that done before my day started. So by the time like we were like in the thick of things, I was just like, I don't want to bring out my phone. And I didn't. And then I got home and I was like, wow, I am not like vlogging influencer material.
I have that. I think I've told you about it, but I have this trip coming. I have this creators trip coming up at the end of March, and so I've been prepping a lot of projects for that, and so like, and so I'm gonna try and vlog that, but we're gonna see how that goes, and like, I got like that new camera, and so this last video even was rough, because like half the footage I chucked because I'm just not used to the new camera, so It's like I don't know, but we're gonna see how that goes. Cause yeah, I'm gonna have to pack for that trip because I'm gonna need like photo shoot costumes and like
Yeah.
stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know how that's gonna go. We're gonna try. We're gonna try to have a
I mean,
vlog.
if you're gonna be with a bunch of other creators, it might be.
I feel like that'll be easier because everyone will
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
just like feel really awkward sauce the whole time. So that's I
That's
don't know
that.
what I was thinking.
Doing that in public is just like, I don't know. I'm still very much someone who likes to enjoy the moment. I had someone once say that I should like film a date on YouTube, and I was like, do people do that? Like, do people take like I genuinely don't know because I do follow a lot of like people who create, like creators who create. So I'm
Yeah,
usually in their home, their studio, whatever. And when
yeah.
someone's like, you should take it on your date, I'm like, how can I date and film at the same time? Like, that's not the same. Like, we're either filming or we're on a date, but like, I don't understand how the two
I mean,
become one.
I've done it where we're like going to like a location and then I like try and make him take photos like before we go in and then you put the camera away like because I like doing a lot of like tropical stuff. So, if
Hmm.
we're going out to like, a tiki lounge or something like that, or there's like, a few like fun. I feel like Austin is very. A lot of stuff is set up for like they have like kind of like an Instagram almost setup for it. So it's
Oh,
like a little bit like you do the thing and then you go in. So it's a little bit
gotcha.
easier,
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
still not very good
that's
at like remembering to do it.
if I'm
Uh,
leaving the house, I'm going to have a good time, and then we're gonna do like someone on Instagram once said that I didn't actually leave the house dressed in vintage because I didn't film in the doctor's office. Literally died laughing.
It's like A, you, B, people's privacy, C, like what the frack, man? Like I don't.
Yeah, Lauren said I could see getting ready before a date. That's what I did. They
Yeah,
commented on get ready with me for a date video and was like, "We'd like to see you on the date."
people are wild. People are wild. I swear. I swear, the last few weeks have been like me just going. The internet is nuts. Why am I here? Like,
There's I mean, it's really funny to see how you perceive life to be and like how other people do because like I do like to sometimes have offline time. That's why I do focus on get ready with me, how an outfit is made, and then
yeah,
like after that, I want to enjoy life like behind the camera, without the camera, and
yeah.
that's kind of funny to me. Plus, my kids are offline, so I don't want to have to constantly like edit and blur and do all of the things. Like,
No, no, and I think
it's
that's
too
like
much.
smart. Like, oh, congratulations, Peepla. Sorry, I didn't see that before. That's fantastic. You hit 1,000K. That's amazing. I know how rough that is. Serena here just hit over 100,000 subscribers the other week. And we didn't even say
Yeah.
that, so that was exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was not expecting that at all. So especially on YouTube because like my shorts were being ignored. Like at the
Yeah,
time the one went viral so that way my channel grew. I was hardly getting like 1,000 views on my reels. So it was like weird because I was at least doing like 1,000 on shorts at minimum, right? And then all of a sudden, all the views went away, and I was like, "Ooh, this sucks."
well, I'm like conspiracy theory here. I kind of wonder if it was like the ramp up for them like having it monetized and like really pushing shorts. Like I kind of wonder if it was like part of the ramp up. I don't
It
know.
might, it
We're just
might be.
lucky to catch the wave, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then I was just like, "I'm gonna keep this up because I want my
Yeah, no,
channel."
you've been pumping them out. I've been impressed. I'm like, I don't even know if I've watched all these. Like, holy
No, okay.
cow, she's been so busy.
So what I was doing was like reworking because on if you notice my shorts on here, there's no music because I keep getting copyright strikes. Like
Yeah,
that's why I never really uploaded them here at all because it was just like anytime I would use their library music, I kept getting strikes and it was like stressing me out because I'm just like
yeah,
I don't know how this is gonna affect my channel if this constantly happens. So I was just like, this is dumb. I'm not gonna go through, because a lot of the time my audio is very important to getting the vibe across.
Yeah,
So now I'm just been doing these talk through videos, which are doing surprisingly well because I needed to like make up for the fact that I can't use audio, like
yeah.
music, because I'm tired of getting the strikes. And so,
You still have the music on the Instagram version, right?
yeah,
Because I've watched
the
those.
Instagram, all of the
Yeah.
Instagram has music.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
I edit outside the app, so I put the music in after the fact. So the audio,
Yeah.
the me talk voiceover is already on there, and then when I get to the individual apps, I add the music in afterwards. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's just like it's been annoying, but now I don't mind doing the voiceovers over here because I am being able to, I'm like able to, I don't know, give more detail and for reasons why I'm doing stuff. Whereas because a lot of people don't read the captions, you'll put all the information down there and then they'll just still ask you all the questions. So
Yeah, no one reads anything.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like I
Thank you,
literally
Steph.
like spend like I don't know a million years on my description box. Then I'm like,
And then
why?
nobody
Why do I
cares.
even do this anyway? Um, but yeah, no, I feel like I mean this is all very meta for me. Sorry, chat. But but I feel like it's really interesting. I feel like with the voiceovers, I don't know. I've done a little bit more voiceovers in my last couple like main videos, and I feel like that's been good because I'm able to sort of collect my thoughts so I can get kind of the full
Hmm.
thought out a little bit faster. So that's like the video isn't as long. I don't know. So I can see that, and you're just like better because you're sitting down and like you're not like I don't know.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks, Stephanie.
Oh,
And look,
wow. 200K now. Yeah, I didn't check today. Last I think I saw it was like 130. We've been kind of like watching it and like freaking out on the side scenes here. So,
honestly, I've just stopped giving updates because one minute, like 2 weeks ago, it was at 16. So I was just like, guys, I'm almost at 17K. And then it was like the next day, I was like, I'm almost at 100. The next day, I'm almost 100. I was like, okay, I'll just come back when it slows all the way down and then be like, surprise, we're at this number because I'm just like, it's going so much. But
yeah.
my play button is on its way and I'm really, really excited about
Wow.
it. Because I haven't been active for very long, but I have had like I've been doing this since 2012.
I
So
know.
yeah, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but I haven't been very active until recently. Like last November, I like revamped stuff and put in my community feed that's like I'm gonna try and do better and I want to do different things and more things with my channel. And then like things just picked up. Like I've only been active regularly since November. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about like I mean technically I put out a couple videos before then, but I mean I've really only been active since the last yeah, probably like last spring
Hmm.
really like because I made a few videos and then I got really sick and we got COVID and that was a whole thing and then it was like the summer and it was a nightmare so then it was like I put out like a couple videos in this last summer and then we've been going since then. So oh Stephanie, yeah, oh same.
It's the best.
I'm so proud of her. Yes. I think we all are. I was just like, what is happening? I'm like looking at all the
I
things, but
don't know. Like it's crazy. And then you always think like, how did this happen? And like, how do you like recreate it or something? Like not recreate it, but like how do you
keep it
stay on the
going.
way, whatever.
Yeah.
And like luckily for me, I only make what I'm in the mood to make. So like everything is in real time. So I was just like, look here, I can only just put out whatever. The video that went viral, I literally did it like really quickly because I had to go to the doctor. My kid was sick and I didn't know what was up with him. And so I was just like, I never show like a casual outfit where like all of the fluff can't be there because I'm like busy. And
Yeah.
so once I got his doctor's appointment, I had a couple hours before it started and I was just like, let me just show what it would look like if I literally had to just go. And then
Sorry.
I was just like, this is an outfit. Like, this is without all the fluff. And then it went surprisingly really well. It was very weird.
Well, I think that's almost like what people are looking for though, because like when I think about it, I don't know. I think a lot of it's like that's not how normal people dressed, but like I feel like there's been such a culture for such a long time for like
Hmm.
the ultra glam, the ultra fluff, like the
Yeah.
ultra like, with like Gertie and like, Dita Von Teese, like the super hyper like strapped, snatched, like, like there's been such a culture of that, like, and even like kind of the rockabilly stuff where it's more like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like
And you
the,
know, it's funny, like I do dress that way, like all of the way most of the time.
yeah,
And then, so like that's why my content is the way that it is. I try and be as authentic as possible. And like the couple times that I've met people out in public, they've met me with the full situation because that's usually how I do go out. So it was just like the
yeah,
one time I was just like, look here, I'm not going into a doctor's office with all this shit because I have both the kids by myself. I had to get a wagon out of the back of the car. Like I have to do all of the things and I'm not lifting all this stuff with
yeah.
all of this extra stuff. And then so that's the one that like went crazy, which is so funny because like I do actually go out in public with the fluffy petticoat and do all of the things.
I don't know, but it's like probably an approachable thing though too, right? Like, because I don't think you start like if you were looking at getting into vintage, you don't
Mm-hmm.
start at like
No,
full. You don't go all full hog like day one.
no,
Like,
no, obviously you don't.
it's
Yeah.
like doesn't make sense for most people. So probably
Yeah.
like there's a lot of like, how do I get into vintage type questions like all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So
Yeah, and I've been trying to like really get to that because I want to help people who are beginners. I get those questions in the DM a lot, like, "Oh, where'd you start?" or "How'd you start?" and stuff like that.
yeah,
And luckily for me, like whenever I started dressing vintage, I was no longer working. So I was able to like jump head in there because it wasn't like I had to have like this work wardrobe. I had to have like this special occasion. Like I only went somewhere if I wanted to. So um I was able to jump head first into it, so to speak. But like I definitely wanted to do a more like show people how I got started, how you can get started, and then like the things that we didn't know. Like we were talking about the assumed stuff, like
yeah,
if you make this and it doesn't look the way you want to, it's probably because you didn't know you're supposed to wear a petticoat
yeah,
or you didn't know you're supposed to do this. And so I was trying to like help people out, and those videos are doing really well.
yeah. Well, it's good. I mean, it's been really good on you to like see you pumping out the videos. Like, I don't know, like so like to catch the train. You've been doing well on catching the train. I was like impressed by that.
Yeah, because surprisingly, it's the more lower effort stuff that, like, you know, I haven't had to do like the sewing and stuff because, like, unless you sew, you're not really that interested. And then that's what I have YouTube for. Like, I have YouTube for the full length,
Yeah, the full
sewing
thing.
stuff.
People that are
Yeah.
invested. People are really
Hmm.
invested. They're here on the live. So,
Yeah, they are.
oh man, I
That's
do
so funny.
appreciate you guys watching. I know we've got had a few people join in since earlier, but
Seriously. Anybody have any fun drinks in the stream? Am I the only one drinking?
I did have a fun drink, but that smattering that you heard in the background, I'm kind of devastated. I'm like hiding my
No.
crying because I just broke my Russell
Oh my
Wright
god.
glass. I'm sort of devastated. I didn't even
Can you
hit it.
still
I'm
Oh my
so,
god. That's why I
I'm
do the
so
record.
sad. I'm so
I'm
sad.
so sorry.
I didn't even do anything. I just it not like I it knocked
Is it
over
a vintage
and
glass?
yeah, it's from the 50s. It's like a Russell Wright. Uh,
Oh my god.
I'm like sort of devastated because I was like,
I
I'll
wouldn't
do it
even
because it's on theme because it's like yellow polka dots with the
I don't
anyway.
have any vintage glasses here because I already know my life.
See, I actually have a few, but those ones seem to be breakable. I've already broken another one because I had a full
I
set.
have heard that they because they're so old that they are a little more fragile than
I'm just like
yeah,
sopping up drinks with
fabric.
with scraps.
It's just like oh.
Just a white claw, just
Yeah,
a
no,
root
like
beer. There you
I
go.
bought four of these and they didn't make it to the end of the week before my husband broke one. And these aren't even vintage. So,
Oh man.
because I know my life, I'm just like, I need to buy things that I can replace.
See, I actually have a lot of like vintage glassware and stuff that's like China and different things. So I have
I
a
only
bunch.
buy true vintage if it's like the readily available stuff.
Yeah.
So that way it's cheap to replace and there's lots of it to
These
buy.
are sadly probably my most like collectible thing that I have too, which is vastly annoying.
Well, then hopefully it's easy to find like a single cup somewhere.
Maybe, hopefully. I've been on the hunt because I broke the green one last Christmas, so
I had some
I
dishes and I only have two of those left and I had four.
I mean, to be fair, you have 2 kids. I just have me to deal with,
Yeah,
so.
the kids didn't break it though, so that's a problem.
Eh, yeah, yeah, fair enough, fair enough.
I broke one. My husband broke one. He usually breaks all of my wine glasses. I mean, we still have three, but he's not allowed to touch them anymore. Because
You're like, I need at least one, otherwise
yeah,
it's gonna be there's gonna be trouble, man.
because I'm just
Oh,
like, I like cute things. And I
yeah,
like to use them too. So I'm just like, you're not allowed to use them. He can use like the really thick Dollar Tree one that's probably like a half inch thick. He can use those.
you can use those. Yeah, actually, I think my fiance is really good about it. He's like, I daren't break them. He's like carefully like,
That's really sweet.
it is really sweet.
No, mine was just like, oh, are you gonna replace those lemon lime ones soon? And I'm just like, we got two left, so we'll just wait.
You get 2 cups. We have exactly 2 cups. Deal with it. Rinse your cup out.
From
Uh,
that retro drinkware company on Instagram.
oh,
Do you
uh,
atomic drinkware?
atomic drinkware. I'll have to look. I'll have
They
to look
make
it
the
up.
cutest like reproduction glasses, and I buy from them, one because they're a small business, and two because like they're easily replaceable if they do break. So like
And
I have
this incident happened.
yeah to avoid that.
I swear it's just these ones in particular because like they're fragile. Anyway. Oh well.
Yeah, they.
Again, everything that could go wrong in the live did go wrong in the live. True to form.
I wouldn't say so. You got it together pretty quickly because
Yeah.
I would have ran away. I'd be like, see you guys.
See you
It
guys.
didn't.
I'm out. I'm out. Okay,
Have a wonderful
so
night.
I feel like people. Okay, so this is one thing I've seen this week that's been insane. Is do you have an unpopular sewing opinion about something? People have gone wild
Mm,
online. It has been fascinating. Speaking of people ranting about things that I'm like, okay.
I'm trying.
Um,
I feel like my unpopular opinion will just piss everybody off, and then they'll never want me back here again.
but I feel like we want the tea. That's why we're here. And
I
they put
don't
up with
know
me and my
why
swearing.
y'all. Okay, well, I don't know why y'all buy modern machines, and I expect unless they're like the really really expensive kind that like are known to hold up. I don't know why you buy those, and then I especially don't know why you buy ones that are called like heavy duty. Like the machine should do what it's supposed to do. Like I feel like, could you imagine in back in the day if someone was just like, "Hey, I need a special sewing machine to sew jeans." Like they expected what they bought to do what it was supposed to do, not to have to buy a heavy duty version of something that's supposed to do what it does. So like
Yeah,
for me, I'm just like, why do y'all do that? Like especially because like my sewing machines are like $20 a piece, and they're like over 70 years old, some of them over 100 years old, and they're still
yeah.
doing all of the things and making all of the things, and then you guys like run out there and spend like $300 on something that's called heavy duty so you can sew denim. And I'm like, why do y'all do that?
I think it's a matter again of like people not knowing better and like running off to Joanne, like the same way that you would run off to Joanne's and get a pattern. Like they're
I
just
think
like
a
they run
99
out to
cent
Joanne's
pattern
and they get a sewing machine. Like I
is a
had,
little bit and the thing is like I feel like at one point when I first started I was just like, oh, I have this old machine, I need to get like a new pretty machine, right?
yeah,
And then I was just like, oh, the new pretty machine's like $300, and this one was like free. Or it was, if I want another one, I can get it for $20 on Marketplace. And so then I was just like, and then it wasn't until afterwards that I noticed that people would be like, and when I did get online in online sewing communities, people would be like, oh, my machine doesn't sell this, or my machine broke doing this. And then I was just like, oh no, I don't want one of your $300 machines because like, no. And so like
yeah,
to me, I feel like that's kind of wild because like you can see what you're getting with a modern machine, like it's plastic. You can see that with your two eyes. And it's just like, why? Why even bother? Or when people are like, I have a vintage machine as a backup. And I'm just like, your modern machine is the backup. That is the
yeah,
backup because your machine is it's gonna stick with you.
yeah.
It's
I mean,
really
it's a bit of a
it's
mixed
really
bag. I think like the reason I have it, well, okay, technically I have a retro machine because my machine is from like I think 1989, 1990, something like that. Um, but it's a metal machine. but
Yeah, Danny says they don't have anyone to service vintage machines. A lot of vintage machines were made, or almost all of them were made to service them yourselves. They don't lose timing, so you just have to really just oil and clean them for the most part. And there's lots of free online resources. So
I guess like how do you deal with like part, I do just like go for it and get parts and stuff, because I feel like that's like a lot of the
it's
ones that I've
very rare
seen, like the
that you.
belts are out and stuff.
Oh yeah, the belts are easily replaced. There's like
Okay.
a website. I think it's called like So Restored, whatever. Anything that I've ever had to order, I've ordered off of eBay or Amazon, and it hasn't been like parts. What have I bought? Like the rubber wheel for like one of my really old machines to wind the bobbin, but not for
Yeah.
like the ones. And then nothing really. I've not had to buy anything
Yeah.
to really restore it. I've had to buy machine oil. My husband uses brake cleaner to like clean them real good, and that's it. Like grease. It uses standard needles like everybody else's needles.
Oh.
I buy extra like accessories and stuff, and those are easy to find too. So I've not really had any issues with like, I don't know. I haven't had any issues with
Yeah.
buying parts, and they don't break down like that, so you don't have to buy them. So it's
Yeah.
just like that's not really a problem, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That is like my hot take when everyone's just like, "Oh, it's that time of year. This broke down," and I'm just like, "It wouldn't if you got another if you had a vintage machine." But yeah,
Yeah.
I've not really had that issue at
Yeah.
all.
No, I've definitely, because I've helped a bunch of friends. Like one friend of mine sadly got like an introductory machine, like one of those introductory like bottom ones, and the whole bobbin casing was plastic. So
Yeah,
as soon as she hit a pin, it was game over. It was like she broke the whole bobbin casing, and I was like, I can't do anything for you. Like I
yeah,
just like the whole thing is like shattered. So I'm
yeah.
like,
Mine is like metal bobbin, metal everything. I did have some
yeah,
plastic bobbins that came like from the store, and you could use the plastic bobbins, but they don't lose timing. They don't need
yeah,
this. They don't need what other machines need.
no,
And all the servicing is like in the back of the manual, and most manuals are free online. If you Google them, you can download them. I actually keep them, like I have the physical copies, but I have them downloaded on my phone so that way I can just like type in what I want and it'll pop to the page. But like, yeah, everything's just like if you have a couple Q-tips and you just clean and spray it and dust it and do whatever, you can get everything you need. They show you where to oil it, all the oiling points and things like that. So this is really simple and easy to use. I do see the appeal if you need, like, if you do use a lot of stitches regularly, but I have like 25. I have lots of stitches on these machines too,
yeah,
and I don't really use them. Like I
no,
can use them and I do use them sometimes, but not enough to justify spending thousands of dollars on a
no. It's
sewing
like
machine.
you need. Well, I mean, I think if you were doing quilting or something, it might be a
Yeah.
difference. But like, I don't know, for like garment sewing, it's like you need a straight stitch and a
Straight stitch.
zigzag.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I have a modern serger because
Yeah,
those are the ones that you don't really want to use vintage because of the part.
vintage. They're
Um,
painful. Yeah,
and then the
I just bought a new serger
yeah,
instead. It was expensive, but I like
mine
just
was
remember the horror of threading my nana's serger and how much of a pain in the ass that was. Like one of the original sergers that came out, and I'm like the whole thing you had to like, you know, needle tweeze through like a whole
I
thing.
have to
You
do
had to
that on
like,
my modern one, so I cannot laugh at your serger.
it was so
But it's a
bad.
Juki and it's a really good one.
Yeah,
It's not a fancy ear threading one or anything like that, but
no. I went and
my old one,
looked at the air threading, and I was like, if something goes wrong in this thing, I have no idea. It's like fucked. It's gonna have to go to the
yeah.
oops swear
Mm.
jar. Someone swear jar me in the comments. I'm trying really hard not to swear since YouTube's whole new thing.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I was like,
but
I'm good. Glad I never really did that.
yeah, bad. It's fine. But yeah, if something went wrong in the air threader, I'm like, how do you even deal with that? Like, if something gets jammed, like you're screwed. Like, I'm like, how do
Hmm.
you? This one's got like, it's a Juki too. It's got like little ramps. I still don't feel like we're not best friends yet, for sure. Like, I got it last fall and we're still not totally best friends. Feel like we're getting there, but
Mine is sitting here unthreaded because I just don't like. I don't have time for all of that. That's when I'm like over here and you're just like people have been like, Sharon, why are you doing French seams? Because I don't want to I would rather do French seams than rethread this.
See,
That's
I'm just
why.
like I've kept the
But
same.
they look
I have
nicer.
like a grayish, off whitish, beigeish color that I've just been keeping. I just don't change it, but
So I do like all white for like my lighter colored stuff, and then I'll do like all black for something darker, and so I'll switch it that way. And
mm,
then so I guess I'm technically switching the serger seasonally because usually when I'm using lighter colors, it's in the spring summer.
mm-hmm.
And so, but now it just needs to be rethreaded because it needs new needles and stuff like that. And then I threaded it, and then it did the chain didn't come out good, and I was just like, all right, bye, girl. I'm gonna go ahead and do the front seam.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you're just like whatever. Like it's even
Yeah.
with the knits. Like I know people are like, "Well, you need it to do knits," and I'm like, I think I'd just rather zigzag and be done. I don't.
I do prefer it for the knits because it just goes by faster too.
Yeah.
And but I don't sew knits frequently, like unless I'm making that Gertie Barbie top, which I
Hmm.
love to death as like an under layer. Because as soon as the summertime comes, you'll never hear about that again. Because I use it a lot for layering, and so
Mm.
I made so many of those this year. I think I made like 4 or 5 in one day. Like I just cut all the pieces out and just sat the serger and just ran them all through, and just
Wow.
got them.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't sew knits.
I guess I'm just like if I screw up, then I've cut. A, I've cut it. B, it's like I have to like I don't know. I guess I'm just not as skilled because the foot is so much longer. You have like such a longer area to deal with. I don't know. So
Um, I don't know. I just don't. My only problem is the threading part of it. And I
threading
had a
part
cheap
of it.
singer for this one. That Pro Finish. You know the singer I'm talking about that
Hmm.
everybody has. That was literal trash. And I didn't know it at the time because it was my first one. So
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was like decent enough. And then when I got the Juki, first of all, it's quiet as hell. It hums in comparison. The singer sounded
Yeah.
like it's explode, take off, or jump off my table. And this one just goes like and it's so fast. And like when I first used it, I was stunned. I was like, oh my god, what the freak?
Yeah.
Like I literally was sewing with trash for so long. So then it's like at first I was like, I didn't hate serging. I hated this serger, but I didn't
Mm.
know because that was all I used. So I really do like the Juki. I just don't have time for the threading part.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm like debating because I'm like I'm making some red stuff, which I'm like, is that's neither light nor dark? Like, does that what do I do about that? Like, do I have to
If
go
you can't
buy?
screw the fabric, use what you got.
Yeah. I'm like, we might just leave it. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
how ambitious
I
I
have
am.
to. It's not for sale. I have to wear it. I did start getting better once I started filming everything for YouTube because then, everybody be in the comment section being like, that's not the right way to do it. You have to change everything. You have to do this. You have to do that. And so, like, I've been a little bit better about, like, being better, especially if people are trying to learn from me. But in
Yeah,
general, I'm just like, if it's structurally sound,
it's
I
fine.
don't care.
Yeah, as long
Like,
as
I
it's
want my
kind of
stuff to
like,
last.
I think my thing is like, as long as it can go in a wash machine and like be reasonably okay, we're good. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not gonna deal with you and your like nonsense.
Yeah. Some people are very particular, though. And, like, I guess I am, depending on the garment. Like my suits,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go all in. But if it's like a summer dress, it's more leisurely and casually. I just want it to be structurally sound. I want all of my prints to line up, and then that's good enough for me.
yeah.
Good night, Stephanie.
Night, Stephanie. Thanks for coming. I appreciate you hanging out and dealing with my terrible audio.
Your audio sounds good to me.
Okay, good, 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 good. I was just
Girl,
like,
I'm without a mic.
yeah. I'm doing headphones today because couldn't figure out how to make it work with all that. But yeah, we'll probably wrap it up here in a few. I feel like we're
Yeah,
already
I'll have
over
to.
time. But I was like, we got talking and this went better than I thought, so that's good. We had lots to
Yeah,
talk about. I feel like we could keep talking for like 100 years and it would be okay.
that for real. Like I'm having a really good time, and then my husband's watching Super Bowl, so like, there's
That's what
nothing else.
I was like. I said to my fiance, I'm like, oh my god, I totally forgot it's like Super Bowl weekend. People are just going to be watching Super Bowl. And then he's like, is your demographic really going to be watching Super Bowl?
That's what I told my husband. He was like, "You're having a stream on Super Bowl Sunday." I was like, "Do I look like somebody who would be watching that right now?"
He was like, it's probably perfect. It's like watch it on their phone while their husband is like watching Super Bowl shit. uh,
Okay, so that tying thread thing, I've
yeah.
done that before, and it always comes loose. I don't know. Like I always screw that up. So
I
I
feel
had to
like
start
I don't know.
over.
I feel like the Jukies are pretty tight, like to pull it through. I haven't really had a lot of luck with that either. Uh,
um
beginner sewing machine. Yeah.
I like any of the 1970s so my favorite sewing machine is going to be the Kenmore's. Um
Mm,
especially the 70s ones because you get all of like the fancy stitches, but they stayed all metal longer than Singer. So
mm,
once in the 70s, Singer started going with some plastic gears and stuff, and Kenmore kept all metal longer.
it's good to know. I
So
feel like I'm in the market. I don't know. I feel like my
yeah,
sewing machine. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's having issues, and I don't
is
know
it?
why.
I
And
could
I
hear it in your stream,
yeah,
honestly, because
there's
like
something.
I've
I
gotten so
know.
used to these old machines that I can literally like I can hear my machine and be like, oh, it's time to service. It's time to do this. It's time to do that. And I could
Well,
hear it in your stream, especially last stream.
yeah, something's up with it. I took it apart pre last stream. Like I took the whole thing apart last stream,
Hmm.
like in the bottom casing, because I think that's where the issue is, and I can't figure it out. I don't
Do you think you
know.
might have like a burr or something in your bobbin? Like whenever this machine that I use every day, let me see if I can show you this one right here. The only thing that was wrong with this one when I first started using it was like there was like a burr or something. Like I don't know, the metal wasn't smooth in the bobbin area,
Mm,
and my machine person he just like filed it a little bit or whatever, like
mm,
smoothed it out, and it's been fine ever since. But this it's only ever happened to this machine in particular. But
yeah,
like for those who are looking for like a 70 like a good beginner machine, this one takes cams. So if you want to change the different stitches, you can put them in here. But there's another model that looks exactly like this that has a dial up here instead, so you don't have to have cams. You can just turn your stitch. You can change your stitch because it's built in. So there is a model very similar to this one that has built-in stitches. If
mm,
that's something you're interested in, I have all of my cams. The cams are cheap. You can get all of them for like $20 online because Cammore used the same cams, so they didn't have like like these fancy cams work here. They only had like two different sets of cams,
yeah. I
and
was gonna say,
they're really easy. Unlike the other manufacturers that may have switched them out per model, Kenmore didn't do that. So
yeah. I
they're
think I
pretty
had a
easy to find.
'70s. I had a '70s Singer that had cams. That was what I first learned had from. That was like, but it had like my nana had like a stack of cams. Like I had this box of cams that was like this big for all the different.
Yeah.
It weighed like a
Mine is
ton.
like in a little book. It's like in a little cam book. And then yeah, and it just has all like the stitches in there. And then I have another one very similar to this one that also does embroidery from the
Mm,
70s.
nice.
Um so yeah, I don't a lot of people are just like think like I have my sewing machines as like backup if one doesn't work. Like I genuinely collect them. They all work. They can all do the things and I
Yeah,
just have them because I'm just like if I don't keep them, usually people are like if you don't come get it, I'll throw it away, you know? So it's just like no, you don't
yeah,
deserve to be in the trash. You work well.
yeah. No, I'm definitely. Yeah, I think that's the next thing I gotta figure out. I feel like it is super intimidating though. Um, like trying to figure out what I want. It's like so tempting because there's a lot of people
I
that
feel
just
like it's a
collect
lot to choose
them.
from.
I feel like there's a lot of people that collect them and then never use them. So you're probably
Hmm.
in the minority because I feel like most of the people I've talked to, I'm like, "Do you like it?" And they're like, "I don't know. I've never sewn on it." And you're like, "Why do you have
So
it?"
I was gonna be that person, and the only reason why I'm not that person is because um, with any motor, if you don't use it, then it goes bad.
Mm,
So I circulate through them because like I want them to continue to work. Like if they're not gonna work, then I could have just let them rot or be thrown away. You know what I'm saying? So like
yeah,
I shuffle through them because like they're fun and I want them to continue to work and be in good shape. So I run it so the oil runs through it and does the things.
those are things. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, I don't have a lot of space, so hence the collecting has not
Ooh, I love
occurred.
whites. Oh girl, I didn't have space neither. Like in my old house until I got this this studio, which I assumed it was like, I don't even know if it's safe to call it a den because my bedroom upstairs used to be the den. But either way, it's like 2 rooms down here. And so it's a lot of space. But before then, I had none of the space. I was selling out of like a closet just like you. So I had like machines everywhere. Like underneath a table, there'd be like a machine in its case. Or like this was in the garage closed up. Like it was just everywhere there was a sewing machine. This is the first time all my machines have been located in the same place and open and out at the same time because they were all
Yeah.
like put away. So now they're finally able to be displayed. Some of them. I have to put up some like shelving so that way I can put other ones up. But most of them are out and seen right now. But I didn't have space either. But I would have shoved it under a bed if I had to.
Yeah, I definitely gotta do some. It doesn't make nice buttons either. That's always been my other
That's
sad
what
thing
I've
about
heard
this
too.
machine. It just doesn't
Um,
make nice buttons at all. So
this is the
that's
best buttonholer on the planet. This one right here.
is it. What is it? Is it like a
It's a
separate?
single. It's an attachment. Yeah, it goes on like a foot.
Oh,
And you put your essentially your cams in here, but it tells you the size of the buttonhole. It
okay.
tells you fractions and in millimeters. So this is 5/8 or 15 millimeter, and you can it does like the regular buttonholes. It does the eyelet buttonholes and eyelets, and then it also has the template for bound buttonholes.
Ooh.
So yeah, you just choose the size of button you want, and then it'll do the perfect square for your bound buttonhole, and then you cut and put it on together. And that's another thing. Even the buttonholer attachments that come with the Kenmores, if you can get your hands on one, those
Yeah.
also have bound buttonhole templates. Like vintage sewing machines had templates for your bound buttonholes, so you didn't have to do all the math and all the whatevers. You just
Yeah.
chose and it did it for you. So I really like that because it makes my life a lot easier, and that's why I like attachments in general. I use them when I can. When I can.
Yeah. I might have to get one. That might be a thing I get.
Yeah, like I
'Cause
have 2 of those. Anytime I see them for like less than $5, I'm just like,
less
let me
than
get that.
$5. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
definitely getting one then.
that one was
Jeez.
$5. And then I found another one on like Mercari, I think it was, for $5. And I'm just like, yep, I'm gonna get that too. so so yeah, like
Wow.
I pick them up. Singer actually made a monogrammer that also looks like that, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you have a slant shank machine because they only made it for
Mm,
a slant shank machine. So you need to get like a Singer Rocketeer or something like that for that.
mm. So you've got a Kenmore, and you've got. I assume you've. I think I've seen some older singers that you've
Yeah,
got.
I have this Singer Futura behind me.
I think that's the one that I was coveting a while ago.
These stitches are built in. Um, and then I have 3 Kenmores, 2 of them from the 70s, one from the 50s. I have 100-year-old Singer from 1910. I have a featherweight from 1940s, a Singer featherweight from the 1940s.
Yeah.
I have a Singer 1591. I think that one's from the 50s. We actually took it apart and started repainting it and never put it back together because we're annoying.
I mean, shit happens.
Yeah, so that's like half done in the garage somewhere. And I think that's all of the machines I have right now. I had another Kenmore. I actually fixed that up and gave that away to Katie. She's the one who does the I forget what her name is on Instagram. But she does a lot of the Marvelous Miss Maisel's like outfits. Do you know her? And she's like super into Disney.
I think I've seen her. I think I know who you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I gave her
So,
one of my Kenmores because I think she was I forget why I gave it to her. Apart like she had a specific reason she was needing a sewing machine. I think it was for buttonholes or something like that. And I was like, hey, I have an extra machine because I actually had bought that specific machine just for the desk. So it sat in my garage and it was like in mint condition. It was so clean. Like there was no oil in it. We had to service it for her because there was just like no oil in it or anything like that. So I had that one and that one had the built-in stitches and I gave that one to her so she wouldn't have to do cams or anything like that.
yeah.
And I think that's it. Oh no, and then I have that Good Housemaker that I used to make the walkaway dress. Yeah. And I hope to get a treadle eventually because I don't have enough sewing machines.
Yeah, I think the treadles are fascinating. I just feel like wouldn't you
Yeah.
build up like one? You'd have like one super strong leg from like.
I don't know, but after sewing with the 1910s machine, I really like the knee control thing. So I'm definitely going
Mm,
to put a knee pedal on one of these down here because I like that so much better. Like I love using that knee lever better than like searching the floor for my
for
foot
your
pedal.
foot pedal,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't like that. So
Doing
I'm
the
just like,
like circle with your foot, yeah. You
yeah, I
gotta.
don't like that. So, and I know you can get like a mat for it, but like I think in general, like this desk behind me right here, it has like a little cubby where you can open it up to where your knee lever would be. So I'll probably put one on that machine just because it has that cubby in the desk. But yeah, like I really like the knee lever situation.
Is your 1910s electric then?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
I think it was like the first like intended. It was a portable machine, so
Oh,
the featherweight family, I guess, but it's
yeah,
heavy as
yeah.
hell. It's probably heavier than any of these machines. It's so heavy, but it's so small and compact. But it definitely seems it was definitely intended to be what's a cam. It's a cam is it's like a little because vintage machines don't have computers.
It's like a
It's
gear.
it's like a little plastic gear that tells it to how to switch the stitch or function or whatever.
Yeah, sorry guys. I feel like I've been neglecting the chat a little bit tonight. See, it's like the
Yeah, you do use
multitasking.
both legs on the treadle, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, trials seem like they seem good though. They seem cool. It's just like I feel like you'd have to really dedicate yourself to like learning how to do the treadle properly.
I feel like I want to do it so bad. I think it's so freaking cool.
It is
And then
really cool.
especially, I don't know how fast they go because the 1910 one, that machine is fast as hell. I was not expecting how fast that machine goes. And I've never used it as fast as it goes because I don't have like a strong enough table for it to sit on. I feel like the table I have it on, it would like fall apart. So I've only used it on like a slower speed, but it's so fast.
Well, I think the treadles like they are really fast, and then you're coupled with the fact that you can't really stop it like on a dime, like as far as I know. So it's like practice, practice, practice. Be like lots of scrap happening. It'd be like me and the damn serger, where I'm just like I need to buckle down and do some serger projects so I get a little more used to it. So
Yeah.
but I want to do that new Gertie dress, that society dress. That's like my next knit, I think.
Oh my God. I considered going to Joann's all week for some stretch satin to make that dress. Like, I really thought about it over and over and over again. And then, like, I literally had to talk myself out of it because one, I don't need to be spending the money. And then two, I'm just like, why? Why do I need to make it right now? Is it because you want to, like, have something really cool for Valentine's Day when you don't need it? Or, like, why do you need to do it right now? So I talked myself out of it.
I think it's FOMO of seeing everyone else's. That's the problem with like pattern releases. You get sucked up into the everyone else is making the thing, and I'm like, nope, Ashley, you have a set plan. You're doing the thing in March. Like you have to kind of like make the things for the thing. You're probably
Dude,
already
that's
not going
what
to get
I'm,
done.
especially after doing, like, my taxes. And I'm just like, girl, no more spending on fabric. Until I start making money doing what I do, no more spending on fabric. We're gonna work
Yeah,
out of that closet till there's nothing left.
I feel like you're close though. That's the crazy part. You just like have gotten
So
close
the thing
overnight.
is like brand deals because like whenever I reach out to companies, they expect me to work for free. Whenever they reach out to me, they expect me to work for free. So like that's the problem. The problem
Mm,
is not like the views and stuff like that. So I'm
mm.
just like, they want me to work for free, but they'll work with my friends and pay them. And I'm just like, that's not gonna work for me. So and I'm very like dead. I'm like very stubborn about it. Like I feel
Well, you
like my
shouldn't work for free. Like, and that's
and
ridiculous.
I'm not gonna bend.
No.
So that's been a situation. So I'm definitely considering doing like a Patreon this year and doing like some exclusive content, especially after like my stuff went viral because like I didn't get the best people in my comment section. So I was like, I feel like I need to like have like a closed community of people who genuinely want to be around me. So when I have moments like that, I can like retreat to like my community. So
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe I can do that because I do want to get more into like lifestyle stuff, but like I just don't want to be sharing like everything and then everyone feeling like they have like an opinion on everything. So
Yeah. Well, I
kind
think
of where I would be.
definitely, like, definitely with, um, like, I don't know. Definitely with people being dicks, like it's like hard to deal with. Like, I mean, we've talked about some of the more lighthearted ones with
Mhm.
that walkway dress. That was my first taste of that for
Oh yeah,
sure.
that was so funny to me because because
Um,
it was just a dress. But like personal attacks, I'm like, this is a bit much, especially if I'm doing this for free. So no.
yeah, that's what I was. So this unpopular opinion thread this week. That's why I was like asking you about it because I had seen all these posts because people are like, literally, like you should list like all the pattern, all the adjustments, and all the everything you used, and like explain your whole process like in your Instagram post. And I'm like, A, no. B, there's a video for that if you want to go watch it. C,
Yeah,
like I'm doing this for free. This is supposed to be fun.
it
Like you're making
is.
it
And like
ridiculous.
not enough people read that because like I'll put in the I won't do the pattern adjustments all that because I made a video for it.
Yeah.
But like the pattern itself and stuff like that. And then you have to keep in mind that you're literally asking us to give you free information in terms of like the brands who we're using are not paying us. And then
No.
we're telling you what it is and you're going to go buy that pattern. But like, we have nothing to make off of that, which I don't particularly mind, but like, don't be an asshole to somebody who might not want to share that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
um,
I don't mind sharing because like, I genuinely want people to learn,
yeah,
but like, I don't feel pressure to do it, and I don't feel like other creators should feel pressured to do it either
yeah,
because they
no.
are advertising, whether or not like you like it's an ad,
Well, and you
even
can
if it's
tell
not really.
so obviously, like, I hate to say it, you can tell so obviously the people that are being paid, that are ambassadors.
Hmm.
Like, I feel like they just like come in, spam the chat, leave. Like, it's very like, I don't know, like, I don't know. It's like I want the real like I don't know. Like even if someone did like if I was an ambassador for someone, I'd be like, okay, here's the tea. Like I don't know,
Girl,
here's
I don't
the
even know. Like I've never had the opportunity to find out. Like honestly, Stephanie Gertie, um, Retro Mama Fabrics,
yeah,
who else? And Blue Ridge Tourist Court. They're the only like businesses and oldpatterns.com that have ever like taken me seriously in terms of like asking me to work and then mentioning paying me, or Stephanie, she couldn't offer to pay me because she has a very small business, but like this was like back when I only had like a handful of followers, and I was like,
yeah,
girl, I don't know if you want me to like give a coupon code. I don't even have followers like that. And she's like,
yeah.
no, I really like your work and I really want you to do it, right? So it's just like people who believe in me, then I'm just like, yeah, we can do this together. I believe in you too. But then when it comes, good night, Danny.
Good night.
Um,
Thanks for joining us again.
when it comes to just like big brands who I see that they do pay people, I'm just like, yeah, no, we can't do that. We can't do that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting seeing. It's been interesting anyway. So, watching the whole thing, I'm like even if like I guess like playing like pie in the sky, like if I had the opportunity, like who would I want to work for type of thing, or like who would I want to work with, that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, I've been trying, and then I feel like doing home stuff, lifestyle stuff opens up like, so if people aren't going to give me a chance in sewing space, then I can just be like, oh yeah, we can do this instead.
Yeah.
Um, but like in general, I'm just like, it's not going so hot. So I definitely want to do a Patreon and then like open, like give people more of me and my time. And I definitely want to get into like the automotive space. So I hope to restore a classic car sometime this year, if
Ooh.
at all possible. And then
Ooh.
Mr. Serena will be involved, but
That's
that will definitely
exciting.
be exclusive content
Yeah.
because that would be a cheap thing to do.
Yeah, no, exactly. I feel like that is one good thing. Like, I mean, at least these lives have stayed small. Like, they haven't. Like, I think if these got bigger, I don't know, like, you have trolls and you have to deal with all that. So, I mean, we have. Thank you, Lauren, for modding tonight. I do appreciate it. I don't know if there's been anything terrible happening, but. Uh, um, yeah, I mean, it does give you a little bit of a, like you say, a community that's like a little bit safer. Luckily, I've been
Yeah,
pretty lucky so far with that. I haven't really, other than the
no,
odd
and
person
I
that
always
tells
had
me,
to. This is more recent. This is the most recent, like 3 years. It's been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So, and then I didn't just go viral recently. Like, I've gone viral in the past, but this is the worst it's ever been. So it's just like, why would somebody want to like put themselves out there like this and then not get a whole lot in return? You know? So it's just
Yeah.
like, this really sucks a lot. Like, it
Yeah.
really sucks a lot.
Yeah. People are
So, yeah.
so.
So it's like next time, if I want to take a break from like the public part of it, I can, but I'll still be able to just like chill out with the people who are wanting to like talk sewing and like, know me, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah. Versus like just
everybody in the world who doesn't even give a crap but wants to have an opinion.
a troll that comes in, drops a nasty comment, leaves.
Yeah.
So.
And then I'm trying to be like a decent person still and like not go, but I mean, that's a waste of time too, because it's more of them than me.
Yeah, I think at some point you just like delete, walk away. Like it's not even worth the. It's not even
Hmm.
worth the engagement because like
Yeah.
it's like the trolls win. I don't know.
Not even. And I told my husband, I was like, I really don't want to turn into like I don't want to turn into a calloused person because I could be like, I don't give a shit, but I don't want to be that person.
Yeah,
I just don't like. I don't want that to be a part of me.
that's fair.
So,
I feel like maybe I'm already that way. I don't know. That's terrible. I'm just like.
no, I can be, and like I'm just like I don't want to be that person. Like I don't want to be the person who just doesn't give a shit because I feel like a lot of like the family and stuff that like the community that I've garnered has just been so lighthearted and fun. And I'm just like if I'm super callous, then that part of me is kind of probably gonna go away too.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
don't
think
want to just be dropping content and walking away.
it's
Like
just
here you
like
go, bye.
goodbye. I feel like yeah, yeah, totally valid. Well, now we're on a pretty negative note, but we're like getting close to. I didn't think we were gonna go this long. Getting close to
Yeah,
my
don't
regular
work
stream length.
for don't work for free.
Um, but is there like I guess like what project have you been the most excited about? Let's talk about something like positive,
Happy.
exciting. So we're not like
Right
ending on
now,
internet trolls.
right now it's definitely that brocade outfit and then the hopes of getting a classic car. Like that's definitely something that I've been like pretty much dreaming of because I don't get tired of sewing because I'm always doing different creative things. Some people get into a sewing rut and I don't really have that because like I'm always like, "Ooh, what can I create next?" So I'm looking forward to another like non-sewing creative thing. So it's between the brocade outfit, a couple more suits, but now that it's starting to get warm, I can't really see myself sewing with any wool when it gets warm. Even if I don't intend to wear it, I feel like I'm gonna be itching to wear like make spring summer float like pretty things. So it's between that and like renovating my bathrooms. I'm really looking forward to doing that, and that's just how I do. Like I like to be creative in other aspects, so I never really get tired of sewing. So I have a lot of like non-sewing related projects that I'm looking forward to, but definitely the brocade thing because it's the prettiest fabric I think I've ever bought ever. so so I want to see it as a thing. It'll probably be on my dress form for like a couple weeks before I put it in a closet.
I mean, might as well admire it, right?
Yeah, it's so cute. So pretty.
So can I ask what kind of classic car are we talking, or
Girl,
is it
whatever
going
I
to?
can afford.
Okay,
I will let you know as soon as it gets here. It has to be pretty. And it has to be something I can afford, like logically afford. And luckily for me, my husband will be doing all of the work, so it just needs to be affordable at
that
this point.
helps. That helps when you have a husband
And
that's
I'll be
going to
on
do all the
Facebook Marketplace,
work.
so it shouldn't be too hard because that's where I buy everything.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was junior high school. There was this like old Buick that was like lemon yellow on the bottom and like cream on the top. It was like split with the chrome in the
Oh,
middle. And I was like, that's the kind of vibe I feel like that I could see you
if it's
getting.
yellow, bonus points.
I
If it's
know,
yellow, bonus points. If it needs to
bonus
be
points.
repainted, it will be yellow. So
I was gonna say, is it going to be yellow? Because I feel like it needs to be yellow. So you can
if
have
it
like,
doesn't need to be painted, then I'll probably leave it in its original color because paint costs a lot of money, and that's not something we can do at home. We
yeah,
definitely like y'all will see me driving around with a raggedy car for probably 2 years because paint is really expensive. But like if it needs to be painted, it will definitely be yellow or wrapped. I'll do a vinyl wrap or something, but it'll be yellow. And then
Yellow.
can you tell us about your oven? Did you restore?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, yeah, it is a good question. I did not have to restore that. I bought it and it worked. Now in transport, it kind of got screwed up because it was like jiggling around, and then we had to like hire someone just to get it in the house because it's heavy as hell.
Yeah,
It's
'cause it's
so
like
heavy.
cast iron, right?
I had to call every moving company ever, like in the area, to see if they could help us get it in the house because we just could not get it in the house. Like my husband was like pulling it up on the dolly, and then like I was going up with it because like I couldn't help him like that. He was like dragging it, and I was like on top of
At
the
that point, he's
stove.
just dragging you and the stove.
I was like, my feet aren't touching the ground. Stop. So, but he did rewire it because the cord was like badly like dry rotted or whatever. So he
Yeah.
rewired it for me. And then two of the eyes, or maybe even three of the eyes weren't working, but that's because it got all jiggled on the way here. And then he fixed that. So one eye doesn't work out of four of them. And we're on the hunt looking for a replacement eye. Now he can replace it with a modern coil eye,
Mm-hmm.
but if we can find like an original coil eye, then we'll just do that instead. But like, yeah, it's a double oven. It's from the 1960s. One of the model, like the other version of the model, comes with like a rotisserie in there, so you can make like
Oh,
the smaller side.
yeah.
Mine doesn't have that capability, and then it has like storage on the bottom, so like I get like two extra cabinets from having that stove here, like cabinet space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lovely stove. It works like an ordinary stove, apart from the fact that like the burners come out, and then I have those really cool oven doors. But apart from that, it's pretty much a normal
Yeah.
stove. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's very cool. I think it's very
yeah. It's
cool.
pretty
Those
neat.
old stoves. It's like
No,
watching.
it's a Frigidaire Flair. It's a I think, was it GM? I think GM made that. It was making Frigidaire appliances at the time.
Oh, okay. So it's like literally like having a car in your kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. So where the stove is now, my refrigerator, my modern refrigerator used to be. We
Mm,
had a huge one of those huge double doors with
double.
the freezer on the bottom.
Yeah.
And where the stove is, we have like an apartment. We had an apartment sized stove in the kitchen, which is so dumb because our kitchen is pretty big
Yeah.
for this like teeny tiny stove. Which once we moved here, I hated it immediately.
Yeah.
So in order to get that stove in, we had to put it where the fridge is, and we had to relocate our big fridge to the basement. And then that teeny tiny slot that the stove used to be in, we have my college fridge for like kitchen, like basics are in there. Like, so when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to come to the basement to get food. But we're still in the hunt for a vintage fridge to replace that. So until then, it's just like this teeny tiny college fridge just in that space.
uh, the things we do for aesthetics, right?
Yeah,
Although
you have to sacrifice.
sacrifice,
Yeah, and
sacrifice.
the stove sat in the foyer for like a month, 2 months maybe, because we were just trying to figure out, because we had to run new power to where the fridge was, so it supported the stove. So we had to hire an electrician to do that for us. And then so I didn't want that big stove. It's huge. People
Yeah.
are just like, oh, it's such a compact stove, and I'm like, no, it's massive. It's so big. So it was in my foyer for like 2 months, and I was like, this needs to get out of my foyer. Like, I love it, but it has to go.
Has to go. Has to
It has to
move
go.
or we're done. Like I can't.
Yeah, it's been in there the whole time. Like, I'm filming reels at my front door, and I'm like cracking it, so I'm just like, you don't see the fridge behind it. I mean, the stove behind it. And I'm just, because I didn't want to reveal it in a like, what's that behind you? A stove. Like, that's not eventful. So,
It's all an illusion. What we're
exactly.
seeing here is
So
content is all an illusion.
it was so hard to hide the freaking stove for 2 months. So yeah, it's finally where it is, and now I'm trying to hide where the fridge is supposed to go because it's a mess. Like it's so bad. Like there's no flooring underneath it because there was a stove there. Yeah, my life is an illusion right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and finding a fridge is like way harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I
And not
don't.
because there aren't any, but because like it was they built the kitchen around the stove. So that little tiny slot is what we have to find a fridge that can fit in that teeny tiny spot, but still be wide enough for you to open it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So
yeah, well, and I feel like the vintage, like, there's like true vintage fridges,
yeah,
and
I want to try it.
the ones that I've seen that are still running are like not the most aesthetic. They're also giant. Most of the ones that I'm thinking of that are like olive green and still running are like, you know,
Yeah.
like
I'm
literally a
looking
metric
for
ton.
I'm looking for like now that it's been so long since I've had a full size fridge up there, I feel like I've learned to live without one. So now I'm being a little bit more picky on the one that I'm looking for. So now I'm just like, okay, well, I'll wait until I can find a Frigidaire that matches like one that would have been bought around the same time as the stove. So it might be a while. It might be a very long time before I find the fridge, but I'm just like, I've already gone so long without it that it's just like, it's not hurting anything
Yeah,
to wait for the fridge I want.
yeah. I feel like that's the story of like houses in general. It's like you wait till you can get the right thing. I think people make it look like, you just like get the whole thing done and the whole thing's done at once and it's like
Yeah. And
perfect and beautiful.
because yeah, and that's because of like the whole influencer situation. Like like that's how we do things. And I know I do things that way just because like if I start a project and then people don't hear about it, then people are just like, hey, what did you do about this? Did you do this? Did you do this? So it's just easier
Hmm.
for me to wait till it's all put together before I'm just like, hey guys, let's do this. This is what I'm doing. And then you think it happened really quickly, but that's just I always am sure to tell people how long it actually took in the caption and stuff. But like if you don't, then people are just like, girl, we've been waiting for this fridge for 2 years. So
Yeah, I feel well, I do it a lot on these lives where I like sneak peek stuff. Like I didn't even really tell people about this trip coming up because I was like I don't even want to leak it until I like know what I'm doing and like what projects I'm
mhm.
going to have cuz
Me
like
too.
I don't want
Because
to
like
like
we're not we're not rich influencers, so like life happens and we have to like prepare. And for me, even with like the car thing, like I don't want to make like a full announcement that I want to do that because like who knows when I'll be able to afford to buy one, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's just like I can't give you updates on something that like I don't really know for sure. But I know that's something I truly want to do just because like that's part of my life. Part of my life is that I do lots of crafts and not all of it makes it onto my channel because like I know I have like a sewing niche here.
Yeah.
So I try and keep it like relatable to sewing, but like I do a lot of stuff. We even build furniture sometimes. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
do
it
lots.
sounds like it's nice to have the handy husband. I mean, mine works in IT,
Yeah.
so he's helpful with back end stuff that no one ever sees, but
I mean, technically, he does this out of the goodness of his heart for me, because that's not his job. But yeah, he definitely used to be like when he was in college and stuff. He was like an auto body mechanic, like an off road mechanic, and then he used to drag race and drift too. So
oh, okay.
it's gonna be really cool to have something that's like we're both into
Yeah, that you
to
can
do
do
together,
together.
like a project we can do together.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to doing something fun like that.
It sounds like that'll be so much fun. I'm so excited for you.
So fingers
Anyway,
crossed.
it's like 8:54, so I think we're gonna wrap her up unless anyone has any urgent questions, because we've already gone an hour longer than I suspected that we were going to. So
Oh, well,
this
that's
is
good.
look at us. See, live streams
uh,
aren't too bad, especially when you only have like a few dedicated people that are always here. So
yeah, they
thank you
were
guys. I
also.
do see you in the chat. I know I've been bad about it today. Surprisingly, not sewing and still doing worse at the chat. So thank you guys.
Yeah, they're
Um,
talking football now.
they're talking football, which I know I have no contributions to. So
Me either. Cannot really.
it's. I'm like, what is what is an eagle?
I
Not
was
sure.
hoping it would be over by the time we got off.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that too. I don't even know who was doing the halftime show this year, so
I think
I
it's
like.
Rihanna.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm slightly sad then, but that's fine. I'll
Yeah,
catch that
it's
on the YouTube, the one like 5-minute clip of
the good
Rihanna, and
parts.
we're good to go. We're good to go. Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us and
Yeah, it
hanging
was fun,
out.
but I don't think I'm ready to do it alone.
It is really helpful to have you here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay. Maybe we need to make collabs a regular feature if you guys like
Either.
this.
Yep, just go around asking everybody who wants to just chat, which I think it's more fun anyway.
Yeah.
Because then you can just bounce off. You don't have to be responsible for the whole conversation.
No, I only have to responsible for making the stream work, which was nerve wracking enough. But other than that, we're good. Uh,
Bye.
thank you guys. Bye. Thank you all so much. Have a good night, Psycho Cat. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it. I think next week, there's been a bit of a change of plans. I'm going to be doing the Rita blouse, if anyone's wondering. Um, I know I talked about doing a different blouse, but I'm going to do the Rita blouse because it's part of the project. So if you guys are interested in that, you can come hang out, watch me sew the Rita blouse next week. That's the plan. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. Kitchen's now clean. There you go.
Yay.
Yay! That's like a feat in and of itself. Mine's covered in butter too. It's fine.
Absolutely. I need to go do that now.
Well, thanks so much, guys. I'm just gonna head the thing off. And again, I appreciate you all being here. Go and follow Serena. I have her channel linked down below as well. Add to her almost 200,000. What?
Yay. Hopefully by the end of the week, maybe.
Hopefully by the end of the week. And thank you guys for tuning into my channel. If you're here from Serena's channel, I do really appreciate it. And thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.